is it the best play of all time? I mean, it might be the best play of all time. Was it fourth and 7 from like the 20, and he turns around, runs 25 yards, throws it off his back foot into the corner of the end zone to the backup tight end,
laser,
right? Somehow open.
Kids aren't out there trying to mimic their game after Dylan Brooks, but maybe the mentality after Dylan Brooks, right?
And Dylan Brooks, since I've been here, since I've lived in Phoenix, probably is the most loved Suns player besides Book, man. Like, people love him here.
When he's on your team,
I thought I'll root for him, and I will. And I'll root for him when he go. If they trade him tomorrow, I'll root for him wherever he goes.
Yeah, the way the Bills team is constructed currently just wasn't getting it done. Exchange had to be made. It wasn't going to be Josh Allen, and we saw exchange that they decided to make today. He's had the ball in his hands to win or tie the game. The final game of the season for the past 3 years, and they've lost every one.
The weather and the climate, let's say it pours or it snows, has an impact on the outcome of the game, and you're not necessarily always getting the best team winning, which I guess is just part of the game, right? But it kind of bugs me because I kind of want to see the best team win. I want to see the best Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl is never going to be where it's freezing. Santa Clara might be the coldest place they do a Super Bowl that's outside. Welcome back to the Can't Teach Taste podcast with your boys Matt Gannum and Todd Tomlinson. It's good, man. Long day yesterday.
Long one, man. Yeah, just was on the couch all day. It didn't move.
I got a noise complaint. My wife was going to pick up dinner, and a couple of us were watching the game outside in the backyard. And it was dark by then. It was after Caleb threw that 45-yard touchdown pass at the end of regulation. Like, I didn't think we were that loud, but we got it. Apparently, the police officer pulled up and talked to her.
Did you really?
Yeah, when she was pulling out, she calls me. She's like, I got a noise complaint from a police officer. I'm like, no, you didn't. And she's like, yeah, he pulled up and told me, it's too loud and we've gotten, a call and you guys need to calm down. And I'm like, it wasn't that loud, bro. But what else are you supposed to do when Caleb Williams makes that throw? Dude snaps the ball, runs 25 yards backwards and turns around, throws it off his back foot on it with a dot to Cole Kmet, like in the corner of the end zone. I think I jumped. Like, we have this little area, like next to like where the TV is, and it has like little like strips and then like grass in between. I think I jumped like completely over that and started screaming.
It was one of the most insane throws I've ever seen.
Never seen anything like it. It was as good as the catch with Joe Montana and Dwight Clark. It was like that. It might be better.
When he was running back and getting pressure, I was like, I verbally said, I was like, he's fucked. The game's over. He's fucked. I verbally said that, and then that was one of the most insane throws. Couple that with the throw he made, last week. Crazy. But I'm surprised that I never got the cops called on me watching the Jets games, man, because it's profanity from me, my dad, and my brother coming out the crib. People probably think we're crazy. They probably don't know what we're doing, but it's a lot of aggression being taken out. My neighbors are pretty close, man. So that's only a matter of time before I get knocked on my door by the police. But
it was bad when I lived in DC. We had a row house, and it had these two little doors. On the TV was in the middle, and then there was two doors on each side. There was not like a patio; it was like this big. So there was plants out there or whatever, And I would open the doors because it'd be hot sort of when it got closer towards playoff time. And the Warriors game started at 10:30 Eastern, so I'm screaming at 1 a.m. And this was when KD was still there too. This was the year that they lost in the finals, right? When to the Raptors, and I'm surprised I didn't get thrown out of the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
It's wild. I'll yell at players, verbally, abuse players verbally, and my neighbors probably don't know who I'm talking to. They don't know I'm yelling at the TV. No. They could think I'm yelling, talking to,
My wife's literally if you say it's always Draymond because he always wants to do some stupid he always commits bad turnovers, right? It's Draymond, and before in the past, man, who do we have that? There was one Warriors player that she's like, yeah, I know. Oh, JaVale McGee, I know he's trash. Literally, she just walked by. I wouldn't even be saying anything, and she'd be like, JaVale McGee's trash, or whoever it was, Dude, whatever, man. I don't know. But it was a good weekend for sports. Obviously, we talked about national championship game last week, which is on tonight, so we still have that and a lot of NBA today. But let's get into Saturday's games, man. You had the loss in overtime for Buffalo at Denver, where a couple things happened. Bo Nix, I guess, broke his ankle on the second to last play of the game. It didn't look like it because he didn't even really limp away, but anyway, so that impacts the next game. But Josh Allen, too many turnovers. That last interception to Brandon Cooks. I mean,
tough.
Look,
man, I had the Bills winning it all. Obviously, that was a tough game. I wasn't surprised that Denver won. I don't know. We got to have a conversation about Josh Allen. He's obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, definitely during the regular season. For whatever reason, my man hasn't been able to get over the hump and play well when he's needed to play or be great. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the difference. They needed Josh Allen to make a couple more plays. The backbreaker was a play before the halftime where he fumbled the ball because that was a swing and they got a field goal out of that. So you can't put it all on him, obviously, right? I mean,
what's that play call? Why are they not kneeling on the ball with 17 seconds or whatever left anyways?
That's Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? That's why. But like
running around like.
I know what you're saying, but it's like you got Josh Allen. They can score. They've been aggressive. He's the reason you're there. But fuck, man, it's like I don't know what it is, dude.
Threw the ball backwards almost. It was weird.
It was weird, but it's plays like that. It's like reverting to the old, the old stuff that we used to talk about on why Josh Allen wasn't getting over the hump, and then he reverted back to it in that game. He just hasn't beaten. So look, the quarterbacks like Josh Allen has beaten in the playoffs are Phillip Rivers in 2020, who was basically cooked, Lamar Jackson, Mac Jones, Skylar Thompson, Mason Rudolph, Bo Nix, obviously not this year, but year before, and Trevor Lawrence. So, he hasn't been – there have been plenty of games where he was, the better quarterback and wasn't able to come out on top, man. So I said all along, the way the Bills team is constructed currently just wasn't getting it done. A change had to be made. It wasn't going to be Josh Allen, and we saw a change that they decided to make today. But, man – I don't know, dude. Like, and it's not even me hating. I just don't know what Josh Allen, what he has to be better, and it's unfair. But you're a quarterback, and you're MVP caliber player. You just got to be great when your team needs to be great, and he wasn't. So he's had the ball in his hands to win or tie the game in the final game of the season for the past 3 years, and they've lost every one. So it is what it is, man. But yeah, so my Super Bowl prediction is done, and the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. Clearly, we'll get into that later. But to your point, man, that they win the game, right? And then it's like, okay, they got a chance, and then literally 30 minutes after the game's over, that news breaks, and I was like, what the fuck happened? Like I didn't notice that either. So crazy, man. What are your thoughts on the game?
I mean, I don't like the play call. I mean, I guess Josh Allen has the decision to not throw the ball to Brandon Cooks in that situation because they're in field goal range already, right? I don't like that play call.
Yep.
It's hard to say that it 100% was an interception, but there's no point to sit here and argue about whether or not that was a catch. It doesn't matter, because I guess the argument was, from what I understand, that had the defender not been there, the way that it looked, it would have popped out. You can't say that. So, Brandon Cooks looked sad after the game. He knows. I don't know. I'm not blaming him either by any stretch. I wish they didn't even throw the ball to him. To your point, I mean, I'll say that Josh Allen probably got the first down last year. Doesn't matter. Your point, 3 years in a row. Had the ball in his hands, didn't do it. Should have got it done. I thought he was going to get it done. I thought the game was over when they got the ball.
I did too.
Thought the game was over. Had my heart in it and not my head, although I still, that was my Super Bowl selection. I guess the Jags was, but I said Bills-Jags winner. Out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Bo Nix. I mean, Denver didn't look spectacular by any stretch. They probably lose to the Patriots anyway, right? I think so. Maybe they don't because they continue to win games that nobody thinks they're going to win. But now, we'll go through this in a minute. But they got Jared Stidham, who has 4 career starts, playing next week in a home AFC Championship game against a team that has 14 or 15 wins or whatever the Patriots have now, including the playoffs. So. Outside of that, man, I mean, the offensive coordinator for Buffalo, they when they put him in, a couple of years ago, they turned it into a run first team, which I don't agree with, although James Cook has played well, and played well even yesterday. But, the offense is built around the run. not around the pass. They didn't, get him any weapons, and maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I wish I could sit here and say something different. He's turning 30 in a couple months, so he's on the other side of 30 now. What are they gonna do? They obviously fired McDermott. So they're gonna make some changes. Are they gonna get him any weapons, or are they just what are they gonna do, man? Because the tight ends played well. Obviously, Diggs is playing well. That touchdown catch that he had with two dudes on him, where he strong hand catch like that was nasty.
Bro, it's got to feel it's got to feel like the Bills championship window is closed to me at this point. It just does. I don't know.
Needed that Stephon Diggs in Buffalo, though. But that New England Stephon Diggs is on the Bills, right? And obviously, look, you may lose a lineman or something like that, right? If you continue to pay Diggs, assuming Diggs didn't want to leave, which I think Diggs wanted to leave anyways, but he needs someone, man, because Khalil Shakur had 80% of his catches in the playoffs behind the line of scrimmage. That's ridiculous. They know every time he's going to get the ball, it's behind line of scrimmage. You're not throwing him the ball deep, right? They needed some help, and I can't sit here and not blame Josh as much as I don't want to. That fumble, to your point, at the end of the half was horrific. It was bad. He just holds on to that ball. I know he's trying to get out of bounds, but he's also running on the wrong side of the field. There's no time left. Shit, dude, fucking slide, just fucking call it. But
with the way New England looks,
give it up to Denver, though. Even though I hate Denver, I don't think they're dynamic by any stretch.
Made the plays.
They won.
The plays
they had to do.
Yeah, Knicks made a couple plays they needed to make. They did what they had to do, and Buffalo had to make a change. Firing McDermott today made sense to me, but
they need more changes than that, though, man.
Yeah, it just feels like it's close to me. I don't know, man. The last 5 years, it's felt like they've had a chance to get to the Super Bowl, but they haven't gotten there. So they're making the change now at McDermott, and maybe that works. But
they need to go get Tomlin. They need to figure out a way to get Tomlin. Get a reason for Josh to stay. I will say this, though, before we move on. Did you see where Josh cried in the post game, and he was saying he let everyone down, and then they were interviewing players in the locker room, and they were like, Josh said this, and they started crying and said he didn't let us down. Sean McDermott was great for that culture, man. So obviously that's why they didn't fire him yesterday, and they did it today, because they wanted to let him kind of do whatever it is that he was going to do, to end the season with the team. But the players are on his side, so it's not. It's not.
They've openly said it too today. A couple of them have openly came out and said, whether it was on social media or whatever, in support of McDermott. So I don't know if it was a popular move amongst players, which it usually is when you're losing, and a change is needed. But it'll be interesting to see where they come in. I don't know the coaching pool, bro. There aren't a lot of people. Maybe they're saying that maybe they elevate Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, to head coach. Man, I don't know. But do you really want to trade for? To your point, you want resources. You need to continue to surround Josh with resources. Do you want to give up assets for Mike Tomlin? The head coach is almost everything, dude. But I don't know how much I'm giving up.
Point,
you need more.
The pool isn't great this year. It's just not. Harbaugh's gone already, so there's a lot of openings and not a lot of Ben Johnson type coordinators that you want to take. So I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they call up homeboy after tonight's game, man. Somebody needs to call him.
Yeah, I would. Signetti. But I don't know how the general manager kept his job. Look at his last 3 drafts or 4 drafts. It's been horrific. It's been bad.
No.
It's I think
unless they're not blaming the people around and they're blaming Josh. But if you're blaming Josh, you're not blaming Josh because you're blaming McDermott. But you
need Josh to be great. Obviously, he's the quarterback, one of the best in the league. He has to be, but it's not. It's putting it all on him is crazy. He's the reason you're there. Had to play better yesterday, but there's a lot more issues at hand than Josh Allen, obviously. So it'll be interesting, man. They're in a weird predicament, dude. Because again, it's as far our coach, but who out there is better? Maybe they have a plan that we don't know about.
They don't. That's the problem. It can't be. It can't be the offensive coordinator. It might be, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah, they're talking about Dable.
Dude.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
You have there's still a window there. Drake May. Obviously, we talk about this in a second. Patriots didn't look. But the Giants. There's a lot of up and coming teams now. Especially in the AFC East, right? This is your time before Drake May gets all the way there. But
too late.
And obviously, Vrabel's that man.
Too late, man. Drake May's got a shot to win a ring, a legitimate shot to. Imagine if he wins a ring. before Josh. Maybe
He only has to
insanity.
play one of the two tough teams left. He doesn't have to win twice.
Yep.
He has to win
That's what
one.
I'm saying. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
man, it sucks to see it, but it is what it is. It's over now, so you don't got to worry about it. Yeah, Niners at Seattle. I mean,
that
exactly what I said was going to happen. I didn't think it would be that bad. I said it was going to get out of hand and it would be 2 scores. I didn't think it would get that out of hand.
It was out of hand. It was from the jump, man. Yeah, you called that one.
41-6. I mean, I didn't think that, but I mean, I would have thought 20-7 or something like that. But Purdy's just not it. You can't convince me he is. I'm not going to say that he is.
Obviously not.
There's a lot of injuries and all of these things, but he's just not it. Seattle looked great. Kenneth Walker finally did what I thought he was going to do every game all season. Balled out. I mean, that kind of Kenneth Walker is going to make it very difficult for anyone. So
that defense is nasty, man. They got a great defense. Sam Darnold can play well, make some plays with JSN. They lost Charbonnet though; he's done for the rest of the playoffs. So that's a blow.
By subtraction, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Like David Montgomery got hurt before the Lions played in the Super Bowl. How much better would they be with just Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, it's good to have exchange of pace, or when I don't know if Kenneth Walker can't play every down, right? So to have that, but yeah, Kenneth Walker looked great when Sam Darnold's throwing the ball well, and that defense is flying around like that. I mean, they're going to be tough to beat, man. They might be the favorites as of right now. But San Francisco, I thought that with Shanahan and he draws some stuff up and they'd be able to have be effective. The defense finally broke. I mean, they're kind of a makeshift defense. Saleh was doing a good job with those guys, but it was an ass kicking, belt to ass. San Francisco wasn't in that game at any point in that game. So that was the worst game of the weekend, far and away.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Steelers got blown out by the Texans, but the game was close. It was ugly. Yeah. It wasn't a great game, but it was close, right? This game, a gravesite from the beginning. I actually didn't even watch the second half, which is I was going to, but I was just like, I was like, we can go out for dinner. I don't need to watch it. This is a wrap. So, brutal game. I'm interested to see. We'll get into NFC Championship game in a second. First game yesterday. I'm watching all the pre-games. 80%, maybe 75% players, like
included
players, that the analysts, everyone. They were like, oh. I guess everyone thought that the Texans only played one game this season, which they played against the Steelers, who, are a subpar playoff team anyways, with a myriad of issues. But people were picking the Texans' money line. Forget the spread. It was Pats minus 3.5. I mean, I had a couple bets, but the biggest bet that I made was Pats minus 6.5. So I bought it down to a touchdown and thought, there's a chance it could get bad. It didn't get bad. It could have.
At points it did.
It was 12. I mean, it could have got worse though.
When I say bad, at points it just looked like the Texans couldn't do anything offensively.
Well, they couldn't. I mean, C.J. Stroud was horrific. It was bad. I mean, the thing is Drake May fumbled the ball 4 times.
I know. The Texans defense, contrary to what you might believe, the defense is legit. The Texans defense has an elite defense, and I think my thinking was if C.J. Stroud can just be decent. The guy I saw yesterday was like some of the worst quarterback play I've seen out of anybody. And I've seen a lot of bad quarterback play this year, being a Jet fan. He has progressively gotten worse since his rookie year. I don't know what's wrong with him, but they have a quarterback issue in Houston, man, because you got a defense that can win a Super Bowl. You do. And look, he didn't have his Dalton Schultz, left the game mad early. Didn't have Nico Collins. It doesn't matter, man.
You throw the ball Nico 5 times, though, man. My problem is that I watched so many Texas games because I had Nico Collins this year, and he's just not that dude, and he doesn't use Nico. I mean, Nico played better as a fantasy player in some of the games with Davis Mills because he just threw the ball to the best player, which is what you should.
That's why they need to make a change at halftime, dude. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why.
I don't think Davis Mills is that dude. If they had even a formidable backup, they might have pulled him because
you got to try, man. You're still in the game at halftime, right? You're still in the game, dog. Obviously, C.J. Stroud 4 interceptions in the first half, doesn't have it. You owe it to the team, and he played terrible against Pittsburgh too.
Yeah,
you have a half left in your season to try to figure it out. Davis Mills is serviceable. He's won games this year. I would have went to him and tried something different. I'm not the coach, but
I mean, Drake May had 3 touchdowns, he had 4 fumbles, 2 lost, and a pick. So they had 3 turnovers, right? I think it was 5 turnovers for the Texans, 3 turnovers for the Patriots. Patriots should have ran away with the game if the Texans defense even bent a little bit in that first half, they might have been down 30. It was bad.
But you look at
turn the ball over at the 40-yard line to get no yards and punt.
Their guys just made plays, man. Every touchdown, the first touchdown, it's a 4th down. The ball gets deflected. You saw him get his finger on it. Douglas catches it, goes into the end zone. The Diggs catch was just an amazing catch. And the Booty touchdown, I mean, those are just players making plays. You got to make plays. It's the NFL. And then the Patriots receivers and Drake May made plays, and the Texans players and receivers didn't, dude. And that's sports, bro. I mean, great plays by their receivers. They had to.
The Patriots receivers, they're not elite, but I mean, I didn't know they had that much in them. I'll say that they balled out. Drake May has the most scrambles for a first down in the NFL this year. I mean, he was doing that. I mean, that's the difference, man. Even just like when I watch my team, they don't get scrambles for a first down. And how many teams win games where they don't get scrambles for a first down? You just don't. I mean, Drake May's great at that. Obviously, Vrabel's a beast. You see Stephon Diggs saying, like, I'm going to throw a block, and Vrabel's like, shut up. We have 250 yards, and you haven't thrown a block. You're not throwing a block. You know what I mean? I mean, Vrabel's a great coach. The environment's good. Everyone's young, man. They're a problem for a long time.
Sucks.
It sucks for you. It sucks for Josh. It sucks for everyone.
Patriots fans are spoiled, bro.
There's going to be a lot of Super Bowls that go through Foxborough in the next 10 years. A lot of Super Bowl routes, like with them as being a top 3 seed or top 2 seed. You know what I mean?
Drake May could be the best quarterback in the league in a couple of years.
Could be. He could be. I'm not arguing with you there. Yeah. And then probably the best game, maybe even more disappointing than the Bills game, was yesterday, where I got my noise complaint or whatever. But I mean, Caleb, he threw too many interceptions. He threw 3. He just seems to, like, it's almost like even when they played the Packers, like I don't know what he's doing in the beginning of the game. They got to clean that up, because you just know that, like, towards the end, he's going to start to, push it the right direction and do the right things, which he did. I mean, obviously we saw some ridiculous plays last week, and then this week maybe the best. I don't know. Is it the best play of all time? I mean, it might be the best play of all time. Was it 4th and 7 from like the 20? And he turns around, runs 25 yards, throws it off his back foot into the corner of the end zone to the backup tight end. Right? He's somehow open. Obviously, like, he broke off of the corner. But, I mean, Caleb literally threw the ball from midfield and started at the 20. Never seen anything like it. You want them to win so bad. I mean, I don't know. Would they beat Seattle if they won anyways? Who knows? Wanted to see them. The Rams didn't look great. They haven't looked great in the playoffs, but you know what they've done? They've won 2 road playoff games. Even though it was the Panthers, and even though it was, a 20-17 game, the Rams offense didn't do anything. Stafford didn't look particularly great. I mean, he didn't get Puka really involved. And I think Devontae, what do you have, 1 catch maybe or something like that? It wasn't, they didn't do a whole lot. So
1 or 2.
The Rams didn't look great. The Bears didn't look great. Caleb is that dude. But, I mean, he's got to clean it up, though, because they're constantly behind, right? And why is that? There's some disconnect in the beginning of the game. I don't think it's coaching. I don't know what it is, but there's something they got to make a change. But he's poised to dominate, in the future. Very sad to see. I can't believe he lost. I didn't want him to lose, but my Super Bowl selection, I think yours is as well, from the NFC, still around, which is the Rams.
Yeah, so I got Caleb. He's a gunslinger. He's going to make mistakes. It's probably part of what you're getting with him. But to your point, he's got to clean it up. Especially in the playoffs, you can't overcome turnovers, and you saw that with the Texans. You saw that with Buffalo. You just can't, man, especially from your quarterback. But, man, under Ben Johnson going into next year again, he's going to be the player that thought they were drafting originally, which, is going to be a problem for a lot of folks. I could see the Bears getting to the Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years, honestly.
Dude,
if they get some additions, they make some additions, and they figure out, continue to get better on the defensive side of the ball. Ben Johnson's going to figure it out offensively, that's for sure. No doubt. So
one of the best offensive young minds, man. And one of my boys yesterday was making an argument that Caleb isn't that good and that he walked into a great situation. He claims that if you include their tight end as the 4th receiver, and you take their top 3 receivers that they're better than any essentially top 4 pass catching duo, like the pass catchers in the NFL. And I'd say, well, I'll take Puka and Devontae over all their 4. I don't care. You could give me some dude on the waiver wire, some dude veteran free agent as my 3rd receiver, and give me Darren Waller as my tight end, or whoever doesn't want to sign him. And he's
I don't care who you got. Give me Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with anybody else. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
we argued about this. Maybe that's what they really wanted to call on. I don't know, because we argued about this for a long time yesterday during that game.
And Roma Dunze hasn't lived up to the hype. He hasn't played for
Burden and
Burden's been okay. Colston Loveland, more. And more. They're okay. They're solid. They're solid players, but you can't just put any quarterback in there, obviously.
No, Caleb's that dude. Don't get it twisted. He's that dude. I mean, probably the worst quarterback that played yesterday over the weekend was Brock Purdy by a and then CJ Stroud. Those 2 by a mile. You can throw them away. I don't want either one of those. Bo Nix is the next worst one. In my book. Maybe the best one. The best ones, maybe Drake, Caleb, Stafford. I mean, and then Sam Darnold, I'm taking over, a lot of those guys. So, I mean, Caleb's that dude, man. In the end, he proved it time and time again this year. I'm excited. When was the last time you said you were excited to watch the Bears, for the Bears next year? Never.
It's good. The football's better when teams like the Bears are good, man. It just big market team. It's been a while. So you can tell, man, that city's revitalized with Chicago. That place was going nuts yesterday. After that touchdown, that was – I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. I wish I could have been there. You know what I mean? It would have been like –
in that game, imagine being in the corner of the end zone and watching that happen in front of you.
Wild shit, like Richter scale type stuff. So, yeah, man, the bright future for Chicago. That quarterback draft class, I think at first it was looking like Jaden Daniels was going to be the best quarterback after year 1, right? Now, when you really look at it, it's Drake May and then Caleb. But Drake May and Caleb they're going to be elite quarterbacks for a long time. That was a great draft class. If Daniels can stay healthy, he can be a good quarterback, but he's not going to be as good as those 2, in my opinion.
I think Philly, did Sirianni say to the GM, it's either him or me about Jalen Hurts? I think he said that because Jalen Hurts freaked out on them at the end of the game for calling a 4 verts. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe Jalen Hurts bounces around. And put that guy. I don't like Jalen Hurts at all, but put him in Houston, man. They might win a chip next year. You know what I mean? Because he can do just enough, and that defense is so good. So there's gonna be a lot of changes.
And his legs are a weapon too, which Stroud isn't immobile, but it's not a weapon like Hurts. You know what I'm saying? So that I don't hate that.
Be crazy. So Let's move on to next week or this weekend upcoming. You got Pats -5.5 against Jared Stidham and the 14-4 Denver Broncos, or 15-3 Denver Broncos. They call him Big Carrot Jarrett. So I didn't know that until I was doing some research. There's a couple comments.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, started at Baylor, played his last few years at Auburn, was drafted in the 4th round of 2019's draft class. He only has 4 starts. He's 1-3, or actually no. 1-3. He didn't win either starts for the Raiders, but I do remember these games because that was the year that I think the Chiefs went 14-3. They dominated everyone, and he took them deep into that game. Had 365 yards, 3 tuds, and 2 interceptions in a game where Devontae had 7 for 153 and 2. So he's capable of something. What is he capable of? I don't know. The second game that he played that year was a home loss. And he had 219, 1-1. Devontae had 5 for 73. Hunter Renfrow had 7 for 63 and a touchdown. So in those 2 games, he was 55 of 70, 585 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. And that's that's a team where you're dropping back to throw. They know you're not running the ball. We don't have a running back. We don't have it. We're 6-11 that year. It's probably one of our better teams. Sadly, that was Carr's last year where they benched him at the end of the year. He's slanging the rock. So, maybe, just like Davis Mills this year when CJ was out, throw the ball to your best player. Maybe he lights up Cortland Sutton and he starts using these weapons. I can't say that he's going to play better than Bo Nix because that's crazy, but it'll be so different that, I mean, maybe he'll have an impact because I don't know that Bo Nix was beating the Patriots anyways. This guy maybe isn't either, but I mean, they don't know exactly what they're preparing for. So I'm interested to see because I watched this dude drop 360 in a game, which I mean, there ain't many quarterbacks dropping 360. So that's what we got at Denver. It'll be, the weather there is not very bad. It'll be cold, but it won't be New England or Chicago, right? And that's one thing I wanted to talk about. We were talking about this yesterday, and obviously you work all year to have home field advantage, which the weather benefits you, right? But like you're working during the time of the year where it's not cold to play for a time where it's cold, where the other players aren't used to it. And it kind of, I mean, obviously it's part of the game, but like it also bugs me that weather and the climate, let's say it pours or it snows, has an impact on the outcome of the game, and you're not necessarily always getting the best team winning, which I guess is just part of the game, right? But it kind of bugs me because I kind of want to see the best team win. I want to see the best Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl is never going to be where it's freezing. Santa Clara might be the coldest place they do a Super Bowl that's outside, right?
Yeah.
So they take the weather away in the Super Bowl, but they don't take the weather away when it matters. If every game was in a dome, these playoffs will look completely different. But
the game's going to be sloppy. The game yesterday, Stroud is bad regardless, and the Texans turned Drake May over quite a bit. But that weather obviously had something to do.
That Rams-Bears game looks completely different if it's in a dome.
The quality of the game. It's kind of fun, though, to watch, at points. I mean, I think that the weather benefits some teams. If you're a run-heavy team, that will benefit you if the weather's shitty and throwing the ball is hard, right?
Well, so, Henry, man, like if somehow the Rams got in there, maybe they beat the Texans, and maybe it'll look different because it's cold in Baltimore. It's cold, and they have that big bruising running back. Like I remember when I was in school and then after college and stuff, those big bruising Steelers teams with Jerome Bettis. You didn't want to see him when it was 10 degrees outside.
Oh, hell no.
So, there's nobody like that really besides Derrick Henry, and maybe that's why Kenneth Walker's fast, but he's a big boy. So anyway. Not to take the conversation too much away from the Patriots against Denver, I don't know that there's really a whole lot to say. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks Denver's actually going to win, and the spread's only 5.5. So Patriots have to win this game by a touchdown, right? They have to.
You would think. I think that Denver keeps it close for a while. At home, really good defense. I think, Sean Payton will draw some stuff up, early in the game. The first part of the game is always scripted. I think, they'll put Stidham in some good situations. And to your point, I don't think that New England knows what they're preparing for. They haven't really seen them. Then at halftime, they'll have a whole half of memorization or, quote unquote tape on Stidham. They'll make some adjustments. And I think the game will be close for a while. And I think, towards the end, Patriots pull away. I think they win by, 7 to 10 points would be my guess. It's the playoffs, man. So it's going to be hard to score. But Drake May is, probably the MVP of the league, and he's going to make some plays. New England's a better team. I don't see Stidham beating New England. I don't care if it's at home. But I do think the game stays close throughout the first half.
Here's what I'll say. If Denver doesn't run some kind of trick play or catch them off guard and score a couple times in the first half, if it goes into halftime, 10-3, New England's going to win by like 25. Like Denver's got to do something before they know what they're looking at. To your point, like if they go into halftime and they're like, oh man, he got us on this, they ran this end around pass touchdown play, free 7 points that you don't normally get, right? And they, maybe, have like some dynamic play by Sutton or something like that. And they can kind of like mitigate that moving forward. They just don't know because they're not going to go out and beat them running their normal offense. They're not, because he's not going to run it as well as Bo Nix. I mean, he doesn't run the way Bo Nix does either. So if they don't, like if they don't put any points up in the first half, if it's 13-6 or something like that, or 20-10, or I don't know, like I think that they're going to get blown way out. If it's tied, to your point, then your 7-10 probably makes sense.
I think their chance to score and to catch them off guard and stuff is in the first half. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So they got to do something early, and they got a whole week. And this dude's been in the league for like 6 years, so he's not a kid. He's played in a lot of games. Or he hasn't played in a lot of games, but he's been around a long time. So, this is what you have him for. You probably pay him a few $1 million a year just in case. And probably this is not what you expected. But here we are. So I'm excited to see that. I mean, I just don't like Denver either, but it doesn't matter. Like they're, I guess if they win, great. If they win, then obviously the NFC's winning the Super Bowl this year. But I mean, shit, maybe this dude comes out and throws a couple touchdown passes and it's crazy. But I'm gonna say Patriots by 14-20. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I'll say Patriots by 10.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a 7-10. I just don't see it. I think the spread is probably like Denver -1.5 or something if Bo Nix plays, and in that case, I'm smashing Patriots money line. But next game, probably. I mean, you got a division game.
What?
You got arguably two of the best teams. You got our Super Bowl favorite, Los Angeles Rams. It's so weird to say that. Los Angeles Rams at Seattle. Seattle's -2.5, which pretty much means it's a pick 'em. If you look at the two games this year, the Rams home game, which was in week 11, which was like right before Thanksgiving, 21-19 Rams. I mean, pretty pedestrian game across the board. The next game, everyone remembers, it was Puka's game of the year, 12 for 225, 2 touchdowns. It was a month ago. Stafford, 450 yards, 3 touchdowns. Darnold had 270, but he threw 2 picks. Stafford didn't throw any picks. It was a 38-37 game that Seattle wins at home. I don't know.
And LA was dominating that game. I don't know if you remember. They were dominating that game. They were running away with it, and then all hell broke loose. That was an amazing game. These teams have played each other obviously already. They know each other better than anybody. This is the one. It's gonna be another tough. This is gonna be another highly contested game, man. And obviously, I'm not coming off my pick of the Rams, but Seattle's looked better than any team, I think, so far.
But if you're looking at prop bets, I mean, I bet heavy on Puka, who didn't play well this week. Jackson Smith had 8 for 96 and a touchdown. I think he had like 7 for like 75 or something ish in the first game. So I mean, he's getting his. So I mean, his over under on catches will be like 6.5. You smash that. Maybe anytime touchdown for both of them. I like that a lot. I mean, Devontae was a non-factor. He might as well have not even came out yesterday. So expect them to get him into the game as well. They use their tight ends a lot, but I think that'll change in this game. I mean, it's hard to beat Stafford when he puts up 450 on you, but they did, to your point. So I'm excited. I'm going to say, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle won, but I'll say Rams. I mean, maybe I'll take Rams -2.5, flip the Rams +2.5, you -2.5, and take the Rams by a field goal. Maybe they win by 7-10, but I'd say most likely they win by 3 to 7 points.
Got the Rams again by 3. Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker, as they call him. The thicker kicker with another game-winning field goal in this one. Highly contested, close game. I see this being a coin flip, so I'm going Rams by 3. But that's the one. I mean, I'm excited for that one. And I kind of hope, for the sake of the Super Bowl, that the Patriots win, because I don't want to see Jarrett Stidham in the Super Bowl, man. Stafford versus Drake May or something like that would be, a rematch of the Rams Patriots from back in the day would be nice. But either way, I think that we're going to see the Patriots and the Rams in Santa Clara.
Yeah, this game's at 3:30 Pacific in Seattle. So later in the day, it's a high of 45, cloudy. So no rain as of now, which, will be a huge impact on the game. If it's supposed to not rain, I would definitely stick with those receiver bets for anyone listening. Look at the overs for the quarterbacks, because, I mean, Matt Stafford's going to go bananas. I think he has to. And he hasn't played super well at all. Like in the first 2 games, I mean, they won. I mean, they put up 30 some on the Panthers. They had to. They put up 20. So they're going to be ready to score. It should be a good game. I think we're on the same page there. We're on the same page in both games. But I really think like the Puka and Jackson Smith bets are the ones to make out there if you're betting. I guess Todd can't bet because he lives in California, but most everybody else listening probably can. So
good bet out here.
Yeah, man. Real quick too. Let's talk about what they announced today. They announced the All-Star starters. So we'll go through the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about how they do this real quick. So obviously fan voting is important. It's worth half. So you essentially take the fan rank and you times it by 2, and then the player and media rank are each valued at a quarter. I mean, we don't need to get into the specific math, because what you would do is take it, times it by a half, and then take the other ones, times it by a quarter, to add all 3 of them up. That's how you would do it. So to me, what's interesting, the fan vote doesn't matter to me and the media vote doesn't. I just personally like to look at who the players rank and where they rank them. in the East, I'm not very interested in the East, so let's do that first. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I mean, these top 5 players have no chance. If you put a 5 against the West and 5 against them, there's no chance. But the fan vote, matters the most. So the fans voted Giannis at 1. So he's starting. Cade Cunningham was the fan vote at 4. Tyrese Maxey was 2. That's from fans, which is crazy. Your boy Jalen Brunson. What's that? He's balling. He is.
Yeah.
Your boy Jalen Brunson was 3rd, and Jaylen Brown was 5th.
Wait, where was Maxey?
Maxey was 3rd. He was 2nd, fans.
Where's Cade?
4th, fans.
Okay, Cade was 4th. Okay, I thought Cade was 2nd. So Cade was 4th. Okay, that makes sense.
Cade was 4th, Tyrese was 2nd, Jalen Brunson was 3. But if you look at the media had Jaylen Brown at 1, which we'll go back. The players had Jaylen Brown at 3, right? So the media and the fans, couldn't be any farther off in the top 5, and then the players are in the middle. The media had Cade Cunningham at 2. The players had Cade at 1. So Cade's the best player in the East this year. I mean, I agree. And the players agree, which, I mean, they know better than anyone. They have to play against these guys. Giannis was player number 2. And then we had Brunson at 4 and Maxey at 5. One thing that was interesting is Donovan Mitchell was 6th in all 3 subsets. So he'll likely be selected to the All-Star game. Cat was 7 by fans and media. And Jalen Johnson from the Hawks was 7th by players. So that's interesting. And then to round out the top 10 of the players, you have Brandon Ingram at 8, Cat at 9, and MPJ at 10. MPJ was 9 by the fans and 10 by the media, so hopefully he'll get picked so we can watch Michael Porter Jr.
I hope so.
MPJ, he might not be there by the time the game happens, but here's where we're at.
The top 5, 5 to 6 in the East, it starts to dip quite a bit. The West is a much deeper.
Donovan Mitchell's balling, but then you go to Cat, Jalen Johnson. It's tough.
It is tough. That is
right?
tough.
So I wish, because if you just took the top 10 players based on this weighted score, the 5 players left for the East would be Cat, Donovan, Jalen, MPJ, and Brandon Ingram, rounding out your starters, or rounding out the bench, assuming you took 10. If you take 12, like a roster would, it's Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam. And then OG, then Norman Powell, Joel Embiid, which is crazy that Joel Embiid's even in there. So actually, though, the media votes stop at 13. So they only vote, I think, for the top 10 because everybody else gets 13. So Michael Porter got 1 media vote. Norman Powell got 1. And Jalen Duren got 2 media votes. He was actually 9th by the media, 30th by the players, and 23rd by the fans. So he wasn't. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe the coach is picking. That's what we'll see. For those who don't know, the coaches get to pick the rest. Obviously, they're trying to round out a roster. So, again, we got Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey. So, you essentially, you're pretty – and Cade, and then Giannis. So, that's in the East. Let's go to the West. You got Nikola Jokic, fan 2, media 2, players 1. So, the players have spoken. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the NBA, which we already know.
Easy.
Let's go to SGA. 1 media, of course, because the refs probably voted in that too. 4 players, or 4 fans, 3 players.
Wow.
So SGA. Yeah. Okay. So SGA had the 3rd highest score, with 1 media. Of course he got. I mean, dude, he's fourth by the fans, and then 3rd by the players, which I thought he'd probably get 2nd, but he didn't.
The player thing is surprising to me. I'm not surprised that Jokic is above him from the player vote, but I think I know. But it'll be interesting to see who the players.
I don't think you know who the second
had it at number 2.
So what's interesting is Wemby sneaks into the top 3, even though he's 6th by the fans.
I was going to say Wemby's number 2 by the player.
No. Everyone in the East was top 5 by fans because that's half the factor. this is the only starter that wasn't top 5, right? He was 6th fans. He was 7th by the players and 4th by the media. And he tied Anthony Edwards in the weighted score, which is 5 3/4. I don't know why they chose Victor or Wemby over Ant, because Ant was, I guess, probably because Wemby's 6th and Ant's 7th in fan voting.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting because obviously you have Ant, who's 4th by the players, and then the 5th by the players, KD, who's the 8th total person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So KD's, the 5th best player based on the players. So if you had the players roster, it would be Jokic. It would be, I don't want to do that yet because your boy Luka was 1 by the fans, which isn't surprising, 2 by the media, which isn't surprising, but he was 6th by the players. So he came in 2nd overall in total factor score, ahead of Shea, behind Nikola. And then 4th, you have the god Steph Curry, 3rd fans, 6th media, 2 by the players.
Yeah, that was my last guess was Steph. Because first I was going to think it's got to be Luka, just because of the numbers he's putting up. And then after that, there's no one else but Steph that could have slid in that position.
So it's interesting.
I think you know what it is. I think the players now are, they're fans of Steph. Steph's playing great, but I think Steph is like to them a god, man. You know what I mean? Steph is playing good. He deserves, to be there. But it's just interesting that the players rated him 2nd.
Yeah, so I don't know how the players vote, but Jokic got 135 player votes. Steph was 2nd with 123. Shea was 3rd with 119, and then a big drop off to 95 and 85 for Luka and Wemby. But Ant got 110. So, I saw a post today that said that Ant was snubbed for Steph, but the players spoke. So, and I think part of it is the fact that the Warriors are 4 or 5 games above 500 and they stink. And that's probably why. Also, I think, and maybe they're just tired of Luka running his mouth and crying and all that. I don't know. The players see it every night, and he's 6th. And obviously, it's hard to say Luka's the 6th best player in the West. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
and they say that. Yeah. And it's hard to say it. It's hard to say it because it doesn't make sense. He's averaging 35 or whatever. Dude,
his players are actually competing, man, and they have a peek behind the curtain. And players, I think, media and fans have their favorites, and they're removed a little bit, and they kind of, they just base it upon what they see and maybe stats. Players actually are going up against each other every night. There's some dudes that they hate or maybe aren't respected outside of what they do on the court and stuff like that. So I think that's part
to it, man.
I'm not sure that like Luka is beloved in the NBA. Like Steph is beloved, man. Like he just is the way he carries himself. I think Jokic kind of the same way. But
a couple other things, man. Denny Advia, who I called at the beginning of the season, 26-7, bro. 26-7. He was 5th by the fans, 9th by the media, 10th by the players. So we'll see if he gets selected.
That's surprising. That's surprising that he was 5th by the fans because he's not in a big market. How many nationally televised games has Portland had?
No, you got to try to watch a Portland game. You got to try to watch a Portland game.
But you can't, even if you wanted to, man. Like, how many people around the country have actually been able to watch him play? So the fact that he's 5th in that market, I don't know if they've had any nationally televised games this year. Maybe they have. I haven't,
If you don't have the ticket, you can't watch it if you're not there. So,
right. I got the ticket so I can see all the games, so I watch them. But I'm just surprised that a player in that market in Portland is getting recognized, as he should. It's deserved. But it's just surprising, Who's number 6? Who's number 6 by the fans? Who's after him?
Wemby and then Ant. Oh, by the players or fans? Players?
Fans, because Avia was 5th by the fans, right?
5th, and then Wemby 6th, Ant 7, LeBron 8.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about that. Wemby, everybody knows Wemby.
It's crazy that Wemby, Ant, and LeBron went behind him.
That's crazy. By fans, that's nuts.
Yeah. Well, as you look, so Kevin Durant was 9th by the fans, 7th by the media, and 5th by the players. So KD, still an all-star starter in the players' minds. Kind of love to see it. LeBron, obviously you made this point we were talking earlier. It's been, pretty much everyone's whole lifetime since LeBron wasn't an all-star starter, but he's still eighth by the players at this age. So, I mean, props to
That's about
LeBron.
right, man. He
What's
doesn't
that?
deserve to be a starter. He's not the top. He's not a top 5 player in the
No,
West.
but he's getting picked. He's getting picked. He's an
Yeah,
all-star.
which is fine. I think at this point, what he's done, he's still playing at an all-star level, but he's not a starter, man. So I think that is correct. You know what I mean?
I can blame something else on the Phoenix Suns because I don't know whose fault it is, but whoever runs their marketing department ultimately reports to Matt Ishbia, and Devin Booker was 16th in fan voting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I go to almost every Suns game. They're not telling you to vote for him. Like you're not scanning your ticket and they're like, vote for Devin Booker, like, or whatever it is that they did in Portland to get Denny Avdia to be 5th. Obviously, Devin Booker's well known, started on the Olympic team, has been to a finals. He's American born. Obviously, fans can, from Israel, where Denny's from, they could vote for him, right? But I don't know if that's what it is, if they pushed over there. But I'm going to blame the 16th on the Suns. Media had him 12. Players had Devin Booker 9. So ahead of Denny Avdia, who was 5. So players had Book in there. Hopefully he gets selected. He needs to. I hope, but he's been playing really well. And also, not only that is like this team's playing so well, and he's the best player on the team, and he's driving the culture and leading by example. But shame on you, Phoenix Suns, for allowing Devin Booker's fan voting to be 16. It makes me sick in my stomach actually. Like reading that, I didn't notice that earlier before when I was looking at this before we started. Then you have after Book, you got like I said, Avia, Jamal Murray's 11, Kawhi's 12 by the players, 13 is Castle. Well, they're recognizing the game down there. I don't even see 14. 14 is not even on the first page. Where the hell's 14? 15 is Trey Murphy, who got no media votes and was 51st in fan voting. I can't even find
player.
14.
Good player. I'm not saying
get him in a trade. Let me get him in a trade real quick.
Yeah, I think his name has came up, a bit in trade rumors. They got to blow that up, obviously. That's another team that you're not going to see on TV is the Pelicans. But Booker, man, that team has overachieved. He's a big reason why he's been playing really well. We all thought that the Suns were going to be putrid this year, honestly. But Booker has played really well. And to your point, it's crazy that there hasn't been more of a campaign to make him an all-star.
A lot of that's like, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, all the stuff. Because you're giving the fans 50%, you know what I mean? It's a lot. Obviously, the coaches are able to come in and pick the players after that, so they'll make the right call. But the fan stuff is half the battle there. So
I'm going to tell you this:
campaign for your boy.
I'm going to name these players. Tell me what they have in common: De'Aaron Fox, Lauri Markkanen, Anthony Davis, James Harden, Jaden McDaniels, Aaron Gordon, John Morant, Amon Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Jalen Williams, all players that the players picked below Dillon Brooks. All right, so what do these players have in common? Jaden McDaniels, Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, Russell Westbrook, who's playing out of his mind, Keontae George, Aaron Gordon, John Morant, Amon Thompson, Jimmy Butler III, Jalen Williams, De'Aaron Fox, Lauri Markkanen, AD from the death row of the injured reserve, Alperen Şengün, AR-15, who's going to get paid $50 million next year. All of these players have what in common? They are all ranked lower by the players than Dillon Brooks, giving you 21 a game on the Suns.
That's wild. When you think, it's wild when you first say it, it sounds absolutely fucking crazy. But when you really sit back and think about it a little bit, in the way that the Phoenix Suns have overachieved this year, we all thought they were going to be so bad, as we've discussed before. And you can point at Dillon Brooks at being the main factor, right? Booker's always done his thing. He was doing his thing last year. He's always going to be consistent. He's a great player. But what's the difference, man? You get rid of some of the stuff that didn't fit. The Bradley Beals, Kevin Durant, as great as he is, didn't fit. You needed a player like Dillon Brooks, and he came in. He's impacted winning. So when you first hear those names, you're like, those guys are better than Dylan Brooks. When you think about this year, man, it kind of makes sense. I would have never guessed that though, but it kind of makes sense, honestly. And I, from a fan perspective, you probably hate him if he's not on your team. One, two, he doesn't have the sexiest or prettiest game. Kids aren't out there trying to mimic their game after Dylan Brooks, but maybe the mentality after Dylan Brooks, right? The way he attacks the game, the dog and the way he plays, not the game in particular, but man, that's crazy. But again, it makes sense, man. Like he almost deserves it just because of how well they've played, considering honestly, kind of like the lack of talent on Phoenix.
I mean, they don't have it. To your point, man. And Dylan Brooks, since I've been here, since I've lived in Phoenix, probably is the most loved Suns player besides Book, man. Like
you
people
love him
here
when he's on your team.
I thought I would root for him, and I will. And I'll root for him when he go. If they trade him tomorrow, I'll root for him wherever he goes.
Yeah,
he impacts winning. He won in Memphis. Has Memphis been even formidable since he left? You can't say it's only him, but they haven't. I mean, Houston, they won. I mean, they won when he was there, and obviously they're going to continue to win for a long time. But the Suns were not winning before Dylan Brooks showed up. Here he is. As a quick aside, there's 3 players tied with Dylan Brooks, rated 17th by the players, 2026 All-Star voting. Cooper Flagg, the rookie, 12th by the fans, which kind of makes sense, or actually no, 17th by the fans makes sense. And James Harden, who is 17th and 12th by the fans, right?
Wow.
There's one more you would never guess. You wouldn't. Dante DiVincenzo, although he was 55th by the fans, not ranked by the media, and on the middle of the second page of this sheet, ranked 17th by the players, man. So he impacts winning too in a big way. And Minnesota's what, 3rd? Are they 3rd or 4th? They're 3rd or 4th. I don't remember. But just impacting winning. I guess that's all it really takes. So, Dante, man.
That's crazy. I can't believe the player. I mean, I don't know. I guess I just haven't noticed them this year, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just haven't.
It's crazy. They're like 3rd or 4th.
I'm kind of surprised that Cooper Flagg was
4th. They're 4th in the West.
By the fans, because normally when you get a player of that caliber with that much. Yeah. But again, like, surprised Cooper Flagg was that low. I used to think fans would have rated him higher just because it's the fan vote. Fans root for who they like, who gets a lot of media attention, the highlight type of players and plays, and Cooper Flagg's had that. Not saying he's deserving. I'm just surprised he was ranked that low from a fan level. But all that makes sense, except for the Dante thing is kind of surprising. Aside from that, when you really think about it, it makes sense.
We appreciate y'all listening. Excited to catch the NFC and AFC championship games. Excited for this national championship game tonight. And excited to see who the coaches pick to fill out the All-Star game, the All-Star ballots. I'm super excited. I want to see it. I wish they would force Steph Curry and all the best shooters to shoot in the 3-point contest. I know Todd agrees.
Agree.
But man, it's getting dark out here. We're about to miss the start of the game. You know what I mean? So, appreciate y'all listening. There's one thing you cannot do. Cannot.
Teach taste.
Can't teach taste. Peace.